Good morning. Welcome back to Market Monday. Today we're going to take a slight detour from our regularly scheduled programming to highlight a few items from legendary investor Warren Buffett's famous annual shareholder letter released last week. As a reminder, Warren Buffett and his partner Charlie Munger have been running Berkshire Hathaway, a giant holding company known for buying sizable parts of large businesses like Coca-Cola and American Express, and holding on for a long, long time. While Uncle Warren, as he's endearingly called, has had a great long-term track record accompanied by plenty of wit and wisdom about investing, we remind ourselves of a couple caveats. Number one, Warren Buffett is investing as a publicly traded corporation, not as an individual trying to structure retirement income or to manage volatility through diversification. Number two, his holding period, or time horizon as you may call it, is essentially forever. But before you think, well, that's great and all, but it doesn't really apply to me, not so fast. You likely own some portion of Berkshire Hathaway Corporation somewhere in your portfolio. It's currently the sixth largest holding in the S&P 500 index at a 1.65% weighting, and is the number one holding in the Russell 1000 Large Cap Value Index at almost a 3% weighting. So even if we're not investing exactly like Buffett, we're still participating to some degree in their investing principles. So with those two caveats in mind, let's find out what's on Warren Buffett's mind. Early in the letter, Warren writes that their satisfactory results have been the product of about a dozen truly good decisions, just about one every 5 years. He gives two examples. In 1994, Berkshire completed its 7-year purchase of the 400 million shares of Coca-Cola it now owns. The dividend in that year, 1994, was $75 million. By 2022, that dividend had increased to $704 million, almost a 10-fold increase. The second example is similar. Their purchase of American Express finished in 1995. Annual dividends grew from $41 million to $302 million. Ladies and gentlemen, there is zero magic here, just time. In fact, Warren quips, all we had to do was cash the quarterly dividend checks. This is why we believe in the principle, the power of long-term investing. It's not that we want to go hang out at the beach all day, even though some days that does sound nice. Long-term investing works. Compounding takes time. And while we're in the weeds, battling the news cycle and the narrative du jour and what's the Fed gonna do? How many hikes? Is housing slowing? Will unemployment rise? My goodness. Enough to drive a short-term investor mad. So this long-term perspective is one Buffett principle we want to keep coming back to. But that's often easier said than done, no? Case in point, Buffett later says, quote, "Don't bail away in a sinking boat if you can swim to one that is seaworthy." Remember how Buffett said they only expect one really good idea every 5 years or so, but that was enough to sustain great results for the whole company spanning several decades? It appears then the challenge is identifying the potential winners, and when it's time to leave one boat and swim towards one that is seaworthy. It requires huge leaps of faith and resolve as tough as steel to stick by something when it looks bad now, but promising over a 5 or 10 or a 30-year time frame. And to have those conversations with you in the now about how your hard-earned wealth is allocated. That's what we talk about in our investment committee meetings. How do we approach this for you? Why would we have faith or no longer have faith in a holding? Because as Warren writes in the letter, it's crucial to understand that stocks often trade at truly foolish prices, both high and low. In truth, marketable stocks and bonds are baffling. Their behavior is usually understandable only in retrospect. The behavior of publicly traded stocks and bonds is usually understandable only in retrospect. Clearly, we agree. And it's probably the biggest risk of making these weekly videos for you is that it can focus too much attention on the day-to-day news cycle, the narrative, taking valuable attention span away from the much more powerful long term. But we do publish these weekly videos to try and dampen the news cycle, to counterbalance some of the headlines that you may not be able to avoid, and to hopefully give you some confidence in your investing plan. And today we'll wrap with my favorite line of the letter: at Berkshire, there will be no finish line. Have a great week.